Hello, and welcome to the Loudcast, Scotland's premier spoken word podcast from Scotland's premier spoken word company. I'm your host, RJ Hunter. Happy Pride Month, gang. We made it. Hope you're having a lovely time. To all my girls, gays, theys, and those experiencing gender crises. That's me. I'm so excited for this month's episode, a special Pride Month episode. We are joined by the absolutely wonderful spoken word artist. TJ is going to be here. TJ has just announced his debut full-length poetry show at the PBH Free Fringe as part of the Edinburgh Fringe this year, Afternoon Tea. We're going to be discussing that, his journey through poetry and how that aligns with exploring yourself and discovering yourself as well. I can't wait to get into the chat and share the conversation with you. But for now, let's have a wee look at TJ's work. This is Matches performed at the Glasgow heat of the Loud Poets Slam Series 2026.
I have spent the first 30 years of my life navigating through darkness without the aid of a light source. I was born with a candle like everyone else, but everyone else's had already been set alight for them at birth and burns bright despite every gust of wind and drop of rain. Mine, it has a wick and wax and a beautiful ornate brass candlestick. It has everything I need, except mine was never lit. I needed to find a way to light it myself, and everyone around me seems so confused why I can't find my way, why I stumble through life, because they were given light. They never needed a guide, so why should I? But eventually, after so much searching, I found someone willing to offer me the gift of a tiny little match already set aflame. I take it, slowly, gently, barely even daring to breathe in case a single exhalation from me might blow out the flame before I have a chance to light the candle I carry. I hold the match to the unlit wick. I watch as the wax softens, the string darkens, and light passes from wood to wick. And for the first time in my life, I see the light that my candle casts, and I am in awe of it. I look at my reflection bathed in the warm glow of this flame, and I finally see myself clearly. And I can't escape this strange dichotomy of finally becoming myself at the moment that the world does its best to extinguish me. I watch the flicker of my flame in the breeze. I look out of the window at the storm clouds as they gather, and I wonder if those of you who were born with a flame that can withstand the weather will help batten down the hatches to protect the flames of those of us who require the aid of matches.
That was Matches performed at the Glasgow heat of this year's Loud Poets Slam Series. And without further ado, TJ, welcome to the Loudcast.
Hi.
How's it going? How are you?
It's real good. I've been disgustingly busy recently, so it's nice to sit down and have a chat with you.
I can only imagine, and I'm glad that this is falling into the vein of a relaxing chat rather than another thing put on your plate. But
yeah, absolutely.
It's absolutely wonderful to have you here, especially on the Pride Month episode. It feels absolutely perfect. I feel like it's one of the most lovely, sincere trans people ever talking to one of the most cynical. It feels like it's Wario talking to their Mario. It feels.
I love that.
It feels like a real meeting of worlds. Look at this is the trans spectrum.
Where do you lie between these two?
Yeah. Are you an RJ or are you a TJ? Well, the two genders. Anyway,
two genders, and none of them are binary.
None of them are binary. They don't even confine to themselves. The spectrum is just a circle. But TJ, I know that you've been in the the spoken word scene for a while, in the open mic scene, and coming up through that community. I'm interested because I don't actually think I know the origin story of TJ, if you would like. So I'm interested how you found poetry, how poetry found you, and how you came to be part of this community.
Yeah, so I started writing when I was a student. I did an acting degree, and I was sort of pottering around with little bits and pieces of writing, and did like the occasional little sort of open mic and things. And then I sort of, once I graduated, I realized I didn't really want to do the acting so much as the poetry. That was what I was really drawn to.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just so much more what I need creatively. Like it's so much more expressive, it's so much more free, and it's such a welcoming community. So like I really loved that. And so did little kind of bits and pieces more kind of casually for a while, and then lockdown ruined the universe, and I did a lot of writing then, and that was a sort of a realization of, oh, this is something I really want to do. And then coming back, because I left Glasgow during COVID to live with my family. And so coming back to Glasgow from that and suddenly being in a place where there's so many open mics and there's so much poetry and there's such a gorgeous community from being in like the tiniest little town where nothing happens.
Yeah.
It felt great. So like since then I've just been doing more and more and going to more places, doing more things, meeting more poets and just loving it. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I I love that we get to add another acting student turned poet to the list. So many of us is the same.
The performing students that realize that performing poetry is significantly more fulfilling to their brain and their soul.
There's two distinct lists. It's the people that were acting students that became poets because they realized they didn't want to be actors or they realized that the industry was fucked. And then there's the list of people that wanted to be actors, realized they were trans, became poets. And I feel like they often coincide. That's it. Because I think that, like, because I was an acting student as well, and I was like, I think that I was kind of thinking that I didn't want to be an actor before I started having all of the gender thoughts. But I was just kind of like, none of these parts feel like I don't feel like I can play any of these parts, and I don't know why. I just don't feel like I'm.
Right?
And then I was like, oh, there we are. Yeah, that little chestnut. And then when I started writing, I was kind of like, oh no, I do want to get back into performing, but as only myself, because I was like,
it feels like you're performing on your terms and you can create what you want from it rather than trying to fit into whatever people are putting on you.
Exactly. I think that's exactly right. I think that whenever I've like tried to do an acting role, like post coming out or whatever, kind of like on that journey, I've always just kind of been like, I also feel like directors, especially cis directors, are always scared. Like if you are playing a specific character that maybe is like towards, like, for example, if I was playing a more masculine role, I feel like directors are always like, and if it's okay, and I'm like, no, I don't want there to be a difference here. So I feel like, that story really resonates with I think a lot of the people in our community. And did you study acting in Glasgow?
Well, yeah, I did a degree through New College Lanarkshire. It was
correct. Yeah,
it was. I'm old enough that it was Motherwell College when I started. So
hell yeah.
I think a lot of the poets seem to get like a bit of a crisis when I actually reveal that I am in my 30s.
But this is the trans mask effect. We know this.
We are aware. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish it was the other way. It's not. But yeah, no, I think I think with acting it is a funny thing, especially when you are keen to create your own work and tell your own story, you kind of have to make a decision. You're kind of faced with a little bit of a crossroads there. And I think a lot of the actors turned poets in that category, I think myself included, started spoken word just to kind of like find a little bit of like creative freedom and
Yeah,
community, and then just get swept up because well, the community is nice. They're almost too nice because they become a tide and they wash you out, and then you're just there and you're like, oh, this is like half of my life now.
Yeah. There's a couple of pals I've got who just sort of started coming to open mics just to see it. They were like, "Oh, I'm not going to write. I just like being around it." And then you're like, "Okay, yeah, give it a couple of months."
Yeah, oh god, it's a disease in the most positive way possible. Genuinely, I mean, like, it's exactly, I saw like 3 or 4 years ago, I see Drew having the same kind of tiredness. Drew Gill, you know who Drew Gill is. The I saw the same kind of like tiredness and exhaustion with the industry, and I was like, just come to an open mic and give it a shot. Here he is, literally
Yeah.
last guest on the fucking podcast. Like, it wastes no time, and I think that's the best thing about it is like it is something that like takes so immediately, and if you start being a part of that community, the opportunities often like open up themselves. And I think the first time I met you was at Candlelight, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Glasgow open mic hosted by lovely Ross McFarlane. Shout out Ross McFarlane. And then you were just everywhere, and you still are.
I
think
can't stop.
yeah, it's awesome. But the thing is, I think I've really come to expect you both as a performer and as like an event organizer. You're one of the most reliable performers and or audience members I've ever seen. Because genuinely, I don't even need to know that you're coming. I'll literally be like, at least TJ will be there. It's great. It's awesome. But obviously, like, there's it's tiring going through it and doing all of these events. So I'm wondering how, because I think that you are someone that reads so much and like performs so much, and I'm wondering if that does become tiring, especially in such a busy period of your life. And does the creative relief kind of take the edge off of that for you?
Oh God, yeah. It's like poetry is one of the things more than anything else really that just fuels me.
Sure.
It's because like just being around other poets, hearing other poets, I find so inspiring. That's why I try and go to as many open mics as I can.
Mm.
'Cause just being around other poets is it feeds your creativity and it makes your poetry better. And it just I don't think I've ever come home from an open mic and just gone to bed. I always come home and
Sure.
write something, even if it's not like a full piece or like whatever. I can't not write when I get home from an open mic. It's great.
Wow.
And it's just I think it's just seeing what other people spark in you. Because
Mm.
there's times at open mics as well where you'll like I think the poets are all aware that if you see someone on their phone during your poem, you're not paying attention. You've sparked something and you're writing down an idea.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like people who don't come to the open mics and aren't necessarily writers themselves sort of maybe see that as a bit rude, but I think the poets are all aware. If someone's writing while you're reading, that's good. You've given them something.
Yeah. No, it's always a compliment.
Yeah, and it's yeah, I think going to as many open mics as I can. I always try and go if it's possible.
Mm.
I feel like I've grown as a poet because of that.
Mm. Yeah.
It's I feel a lot more confident in like my delivery. I feel a lot more confident in my ability to just sort of jump in and try stuff.
Mm.
It's been quite freeing. It because I think beforehand when I was just doing like the occasional one or two, it felt great to do it.
Mm.
But I feel like I've progressed so much more now that I'm doing it so much more. The more you do, the better you become.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, is practice makes perfect, really. But I think that Yeah, I mean, since the first time saw you, I think that was like 2 years ago, roughly. It does feel like, yeah, every time I see you, you become like so much more confident on stage. And also, everyone, genuinely, I think that everyone just knows you because you are an incredibly supportive person as well. I think anyone that reads when you're in the audience, it values you as an audience member as well, which is so nice to have. And
There's a few poets that I definitely feel like that as well. Like when Beth Rose is in an audience, you
I
know Beth
was
Rose is in an audience.
I
It's
was
so good.
literally gonna be like, when you hear the Beth Rose laugh,
Yeah. It's not
Um,
just the Beth Rose. Ooh, like
yeah.
it's that like oh, it's so good.
For people listening or watching that isn't familiar, there's a fantastic spoken word artist just did a loud poet showcase at the Scottish Storytelling Centre in Edinburgh called Beth Rose. She's phenomenal. We love her. She is one of the best audience members to perform to because she reacts so openly in a great way. She has the best laugh in the world, and also if something is like hits her in a good way, it's always like the most audible ooh. And I love that. I think that it's just like
It's so good to hear.
I think as poets, we often just have like this kind of like imposter syndrome or this kind of feeling of like, oh, am I doing well?
Mm.
Even if it's a show that you
Yeah.
are doing yourself, and then just hearing an audible reaction is great. I love it.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. But a lot of your work as well is like about your transition and about your uh, I hate the phrase gender journey. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
It feels very twee.
It's very twee, but I guess it is a journey in a way, and we're writing from different periods of the journey. Um, how do you feel um about kind of like chronicling that process publicly? Because I also went through the kind of
Mm.
same thing of like that I started writing poetry under a different name and it expressing myself in a different way, and then
Yeah.
that changed very suddenly, and I kind of had felt like I kind of had to share it in a way,
Mm.
because it was a change to my work as well. So how has that been for you?
I've really enjoyed it. It's kind of I've been surprised by how much I've enjoyed it because there's
Mm,
points where it's quite a vulnerable thing to share, right? And
100%.
it's sort of you're never quite sure how people are going to respond to it because what what I find interesting and what I find valuable about like what I'm writing, other people might not connect with at all because
Yeah,
like if you're cis listening to that, it's there you run the risk of it just simply not computing in any way, shape, or form.
sure.
But it's been really nice finding the things that do connect with people.
Mm,
And because I've had quite a lot of, particularly cis guys. This has been really nice. There's been quite a few cis guys that have come up to me after certain poems,
mm,
usually about like the physical aspect of transitioning.
okay,
So things like I read a piece about my uh, not my voice changing, but like getting an Adam's apple,
sure.
and it was such a that was such a euphoric moment for me that I had to
Mm,
write that in a poem. And it's like such a weird little niche thing. Like, why do I care about this? But it made me really happy, so I wrote a poem about it. And I
mm,
had a couple of guys come up to me afterwards, and like Mark Galley was one of them, and
sure.
saying like, I didn't even realize that was going to be a thing. I didn't realize it could do that. And
Yeah, no, it's something that people miss a lot.
yeah, like
Yeah,
people aren't aware of how much change you go through
yeah.
and how like just how powerful HRT actually is.
Oh God, yeah.
So being able to introduce people to that through art is just
Mm,
gorgeous. It
it really
feels
is.
lovely. And it's been like I part of the reason that I wanted to the whole sort of premise of the Fringe show that I've been writing, Afternoon Tea, the whole point of that was to put down my first year on testosterone through poems.
Yeah.
Because I know how bad I am at keeping a diary. And I know how bad I am at actually bothering to make a note and make any kind of celebration of my own milestones. So giving myself a creative project that allowed me to do that felt really nice. And it's going to give, at the end of it, it's going to give me a collection of poems that are essentially my journal. And it's just going to be nice to have that to look back on. So like from a purely selfish standpoint, it's just nice to have.
Yeah, no, it really is. I think that it's such a good idea, especially we'll talk about the Fringe show a little bit later. But the idea of having that kind of, I think we do that with our collections or our pamphlets, if you will, these kind of like bookmarks of eras within our life and like where we are at that time, and it's lovely to have that to look back on. But you're right, it's such a profound thing and such a specific thing in ways that people don't realize. And I think that, I mean, especially now more than ever, we need to look for the tiny little bits of joy within transitioning, and within that, I mean, starting Pride Month off with terrible news.
I know, like, why have they timed it like that? How dare they?
Yeah, I think it's
give us
happy birthday, gays. Literally, yeah. Let us have a little bit of time, and then drop a bomb on us,
right?
But yeah, no, I think it is really important that poetry and art is just a way of almost educating people. Sounds a bit patronizing, as if you're like talking down to someone, but you're not. You're just kind of like showing people what that experience is, and enlightening them on how joyous it can be and how nice it can be. And I feel like we really do need that more than ever at the moment. How do you feel when you are performing like in a new space or like a place that you haven't been to before? Do you ever have a worry that I often feel like when I perform, I kind of gauge how trans I can be sometimes with an audience. And I'm kind of like, are these my people or do I need to water it down? Do you ever have that?
Oh, definitely. I've had, there's been a couple of times where I've been sort of sitting in the room waiting for my set and just realized, oh, this is not the crowd for these poems, and just like rejigged what I'm doing. Most of the time I don't go in with a fixed set list in my head. I'll go with like one or two that I think I'll probably do and just gauge the vibe. But I think the only time I ever stick to a set list is if I've had to submit it in advance. Like that's the only times I ever stick with what I'm doing. But yeah, it's quite rare that I ever feel like I need to censor myself in any kind of way.
Good.
But there's been a couple of times where I'm like, oh, that one's probably not the vibe for this crowd. I'll still do something. I'll do something tangentially related, but I don't want to bring like my most trans poetry to this particular setting. There's been a couple that I've been like, oh yeah, no, this is not the room.
I mean, it's something that all poets have to consider in the way of like, like comedy poets, for example, will have really dirty poetry that they kind of go, oh, okay. I think for queer people, trans people especially, there's more stakes to it. I think there's been certain times where I've like even been performing and I've just gone, oh, I might be a villain. Like this might not just be these people. Yeah, people are like, oh, these people might actively dislike me rather than just not into it. And
Oh no.
it's the amount of like gear shifting that I'm doing. I'm
Mm.
like, hummus? It's literally like immediately like just I need to steer the car, turn it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've had one of the funniest things as well is when people like you do your poem and they've heard it but they've not heard it.
Yeah.
I've had once where I did a poem about explicitly I state my pronouns in the poem and I talk about wanting top surgery explicitly. That's the entire point
Oh
of the
yeah.
poem.
I know exactly where this is going.
And it was it's lovely to see such a nice young woman doing poems. I'm like, okay.
The thing is, you gotta
We didn't hear
respect
any
it.
of the words, did we?
Just gotta respect the absolute gall, the gumption.
Well, it was coming from like this person was genuinely wanting to pay me a compliment as a poet,
Yeah.
but just clearly hadn't listened to any of the words.
It's so hilarious as well because that compliment is then so reversed when you realize that she wasn't listening. Like, it's just like, why did you even try to make the compliment in the first place?
It was very funny.
I've had experiences like that before myself as well. There's been experiences when I've been hosting and like hosting queer nights and have done like 10 minutes before I've introduced like the first act on the bill. And that entire 10 minutes has been my pronouns, what my name stands for, all that stuff. Then I've introduced the first act and then um I'm not gonna name names, but there's a first act that came on, and they firstly made a joke about something that I had said like towards the start of my set and misgendered me like 3 times. But because of that, the audience got distracted, so their joke didn't land. So they then decided that they were going to explain the joke, but in explaining the joke, was using what I said as a reference, continuing to misgender me, while the audience was just like, oh no.
No.
Yeah, really crazy. Fun fact, they then kind of like brought it back and then they did a piece and then afterwards they said, so the other day I was asking ChatGPT something. Flawless. What? What
Oh,
just hitting every bench.
here we go, guys. Wow.
I genuinely was like, that's awesome.
Incredible. Like, oh no.
Genuinely, I afterwards I was just kind of like, that was sick. Like, if that was satire, that was awesome. Like, it's just unreal. Hope they're well. But yeah, I found it really interesting when you said about you usually go in not with a fixed set list in your head. You'll always have like 1 or 2 pieces that you know you're going to do, and then you kind of build it around the vibe of
Yeah.
I know that there's several poets that heard you said that and immediately clenched. Because there's some people that are like, that gives me dread. I'm kind of similar.
I'm very aware. It's
Yeah, I'm
like
kind of similar. I will always just kind of be like, I'll just see what I feel like. But when you approach what goes into deciding those 2 poems that are like the staples of the set?
I think it's usually just what feels like what I'm drawn to on the day, like what I'm feeling. Like I'll go through whatever I'm looking at, and it's a lot of the time it's because it's something new, and I just want to try it. Or it'll be something is happening in my life that means that this poem is like forefront of my mind.
Sure.
So I'll be like, I want to perform this because this is happening outside of poetry and it's making me think of it. It's the ones that I tend to stick to are the ones that I'm like, no, this is where my brain is right now, and I want to honor that in what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think that whenever I have a set planned, I think I'm kind of similar. I've never really thought about it in a way of like there's staples that are definitely going to be there, and then I guess I'm kind of building I get almost like a narrative around those pieces that
Mm.
are welded into the set. But I think that whenever I am performing, I am always I think I'm more thinking about the either the message or the impact that I want to have on the audience specifically.
Mm.
Like there's certain gigs that I'm kind of like, I know that I've been booked to make people laugh, or I've been booked to like be trans and inspirational, those kind of
Yeah.
gigs. So I feel like I'm constantly like having to build a foundation, and then the poems are like
Mm.
blocks that fit
Yeah,
in.
I love theming a set to the night. Like
Sure.
if the night has a particular vibe, I will bring poems for that vibe.
Mm,
It like there's certain nights that I'll do a bit more of the sort of uh a bit more of the like queer stuff, a bit more of the trans stuff. There's some nights that I'll do stuff that's a bit more kind of a bit looser. I'll like
mm.
there's yeah, I like finding the sort of theme of the event and tailoring it.
Sure, yeah. Are you the same when it comes to like planning for slams? This is my good segue into talking about the slam series.
Oh, slams, I'm a bit more fixed with a slam just because it has to be such a specific timing more than anything.
Sure.
The like the timing of your piece is so important.
Mm.
So I'll have quite a solid idea. I generally speaking with a slam, I'll have what I want to do and I'll maybe flip the order.
Right, okay. Would you
So
flip the order like last minute?
yeah, so
Okay.
I'll think, okay, this is probably my first round, this is probably my second round, this is probably my final round if I get there.
Oh, okay.
And if the previous few poets have read something that I'm like, oh, I feel like it would be better just to switch the order, I'll do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's to like
Exactly.
bring something different or it's like there's been a sort of a vibe set up and I want to either run with that or do something completely different to set myself apart from it.
Mm.
Like,
Sure, yeah, it's interesting because there's a, again a massive spectrum of how people approach that, and
mm.
I know there's some people that are very much like Big Daddy Kevin McLean would always that's his full title. He makes me
Always
call him
difficult.
that. I don't want to call him it. It makes me uncomfortable. Um,
It's in the contract.
yeah, no, he's actually in the Zoom call. He's hiding.
Always watching.
He's always watching. But he says that he always his main advice is to be flexible in what
Mm.
you're doing. If someone does something similar in the round that you were going to do a poem, have something that you can
Yeah.
swap out with immediately. And I remember when we started this season of the Loudcast, I had that conversation with Kev, and then had a conversation with Heather Rose where she was like, that's terrible advice. She was like, no, you want to go in knowing exactly what you want to do. And I was like, well, I guess
See,
we'll see.
I think it's so subjective and it's so personal to each individual poet.
Y-
Like what works for one person is going to be the other person's absolute nightmare.
Yeah, that
And
always is.
you've kind of just got to go what feels right for you.
Mm,
So get advice from people, absolutely. See what works for you. But if someone's advice isn't working for you, it's not good advice for you. Doesn't mean it's bad advice. It's just not good advice for you.
yeah, I think that's the thing with spoken word. You can give advice, you can reach out and say what works for yourself, but I think although it's because it's such an accessible and easy to join community,
Mm.
it's so easy to find exactly what works for you without even trying, really. So I think everyone has a very specific route into how they approach open mics, how they approach slams, how they approach writing. That it's kind of difficult to be like, this is what you should do, because especially
Yeah.
with the slam, it doesn't
There's
matter.
no formula.
No, there's
It's
none. The loud
Because
poets
like
will be the first ones to say that.
it's and slam especially like the same three judges the day after might score you differently.
Yeah.
It's so subjective, which is why I love that like the loud poet slams feel like it's just a really good opportunity to see a bunch of poets at their best.
Absolutely.
They've got such a good like energy to their slams. It's a very like it's people coming in with the intention of just being excellent, and it's so nice to sit like whether you're in the audience or whether you are one of the competitors. It feels great to just be in that room watching people being incredible.
I think that's the thing as well. Like the first round of a slam, especially like in Loud Poet series, is so great because it's literally just your chance to see like 12 really good poets.
Yeah.
Like, in 30 minutes, and then knowing that one of them. Yeah.
The vast spectrum of like what like not just like writing styles, but delivery styles and like ways of performing. And there's like so many poets write in so many different ways about different subjects and all that kind of thing. But even just the style of performance is so vastly different. It's just like the Paisley Slam recently. I don't know how they judged that because every single poet was so completely different from each other.
Yeah,
it was amazing. It's like I can't fathom how people judge slams. It's just wild. I know like you had Drew on last who loves it, and I know India De Bono loves it.
Yeah,
and I can't fathom it. I can't do that.
Yeah. I love it as well. I think it's as soon as you understand that it doesn't matter and it's fully just your thing and it's like your opinion, and it's like as soon as you understand and are comfortable with the fact that all of these slammers consented to the judgment, you're kind of like, oh, let's have some fun now. Let's get into it. I think, I mean, I think that makes so much sense for me, Drew, and Indy. I think all of us, we really just love a good judge. But we're gonna have a little break, and then we're gonna talk about your Fringe show. But we're gonna also briefly talk about a fantastic multi-slam winning poet. This is the part of the show where we ask you to bring in a poet, bring in a poem by a poet you love, not like by a leash. Bring a poem by a poet that you love, and tell us why you love them. So I'm going to let you tee them up, TJ.
Yeah. So I had a lot of fun going through a bunch of phenomenal poets when I was trying to choose what I was going to bring, because I just love all poetry. Poetry is great and it makes me happy. Trying to choose one was really hard. But this book, the one I've gone for is, well, the one I've gone for is so this is Jasmine Gardosi, who their set at the most recent Loud Poets Showcase was just gorgeous. And this particular poem, I think it does what I want to do with my poetry, in that it brings people into trans identity in a way that asks cis people to put themselves into that.
Yeah.
In a way that is quite difficult to do. Like this poem, the poem I've gone for is Gender Euphoria, which explicitly asks people whether you are trans or not to view yourself in that way, and that's just such a beautiful thing to ask cis people to do, because trans people think about our gender identity constantly. It is always on our mind, and there's so many cis people that never even never think about that in any way, shape, or form. And it's so nice to just see a poet invite that from people. So yeah, this is Gender Euphoria.
Perfect. I couldn't have said that better myself. This is Jasmine Gardosi with Gender Euphoria at Civic House at Loud Poets Glasgow 1st of May 2026 showcase.
Have you ever felt the beat of your own drum, but didn't let yourself dance to it? Just sat there, arms tight against sides, immobile, to not give yourself away. Ever felt that? Doesn't it suck to deny something that swells inside you? Give us some support. Is it just a trans thing? Or does who you are also hit the ceiling and walls of what you're expected to be? Is it just me and my genderqueer ass? Or have you ever felt like you're feeling some aspect of man or of woman? What if you don't have to be gender questioning in order to question gender? What if you don't have to be transitioning in order to transcend into more than what they wanted of you? What if you're not a waste of a woman? What if you are man enough? What if your softness is not a disappointment? What if your sensitivity is not an exception to the rule? What if your dress sense is not absurd? What if your desires are not an anomaly? What if there are as many ways of being a woman as there are women? What if there's many ways of being a man as there are men? What if you are everything you are supposed to be? What if there are as many genders in this room as there are people? What if there are as many genders in this world as there are people? What if we're all transitioning into a wholer understanding of ourselves? What if we're all just a little bit on the way back to ourselves, you know? Trans or not, questioning or not, I wish you gender euphoria, and I wish you gender euphoria, and I wish you gender euphoria. I wish you purpose. I wish you belonging. I wish you brightness. I wish you excitement. You too deserve to recognize the parts you still perform, and the parts that make you tired, and the parts that you take pride in, the parts that make you walk upright, chest out, in a room full of strangers who don't know who you are, who don't need to. I wish you the permission to explore, to trust yourself, to look your shame in the face and say, I see you for what you are, and I wish you too to see yourself for what you are, because you too deserve to feel your body as the home that it is. I wish you gender euphoria, and I wish you gender euphoria, and I wish you gender euphoria. I wish you that moment and the joy of the motion after, as the penny on who you are drops, and you can just follow where it rolls. Thank you very much, everybody.
That was Jasmine Gardosi with Gender Euphoria. Yeah, unreal. Great choice. I was also part of the bill that night, and I think yeah, jazz is just crazy good. Like I think that piece especially, it was just you could hear a pin drop. I know that Jack was playing music with that piece, but it was just everyone was transfixed by them.
It was beautiful. Like, it was one that I could feel the audience around me feeling the poem.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was magic.
Yeah.
I mean, their whole set was phenomenal. They're one of these poets that's the delivery is such a huge part of their poetry. It's and the blend between poetry and beatbox is just glory. I got like full body shivers multiple times during their set.
Yeah, I fully. I remember during soundcheck, me and Len Penny, who was the other poet on that night, this shows the imposter syndrome affects everyone, because like I see Len as such like a big dog in the
100%.
scene. Like I think she's like on a titan, and literally as soon as Jazz was sound checking and they were beatboxing, Len like turned around to me with like just this look of pure horror. She was just, what the fuck? What? No. And I was like, girl, you're so good. And I was, it was kind of comforting in a way. It was kind of nice to just be like, oh man, people that you think are like at the top of their game also shit themselves when they see talent. It's always gonna happen. But the main reason that we have you here today is to talk about your upcoming Fringe show, which has just been announced, which we're so excited about. Afternoon Tea. We touched a little bit on that during our chat in the first half, but give us a wee summary of what we can expect from the show in August.
Yeah, so Afternoon Tea is a journey of my first year on testosterone through poems. So it's going to go from the beginnings of sort of realizing how much I needed it through the sort of initial kind of small changes, the little moments that I was noticing, to like the sort of big milestones. And I get a little bit sort of reflective at the end of it, which has been a beautiful thing to write, actually.
Yeah.
It's been really nice finding the sort of key moments of euphoria through all of it. And it's been so lovely to actually sort of sit with that and encourage myself to celebrate it.
Yeah.
There's so much negativity around transness and transitioning medically in particular at the moment. There's so much in the news, and it's all of the everything, and I hate it.
Yeah.
So it's so it's just so nice to do something that is focusing so much on the joy and on the little moments, because it's not just about the big massive milestones. It's also the sort of little everyday things that just feel good to notice, that you're becoming yourself in a way that you never have before, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it's such a great idea. And I literally read about it and I was like, this is just going to be so lovely. Like, it's just, I think that we just need as much trans loveliness as possible. It's all well and good making art that kind of comments on how shit everything is. That's very valid, but my God, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I need something happy and nice.
Yeah.
Did you find that you were always writing towards a piece that was meant for performance rather than having it written down? My dog has decided to fall on.
It's the baby.
So I guess Gnocchi's now going to be in the Loudcast. Okay, this is everyone. So yeah, did you find that you
You're asking me questions. There's a dog on the screen. You can't ask questions right now.
Yeah, no. The thing is, listen, we're going away tomorrow, and we think that he knows that. We think that he can tell.
Yeah.
He's not happy with us. So,
No.
And he was very good for the first half of our chat, but has now decided that it's gone on too long. So here we are. So you're just gonna have to deal with this at the same time. But yes, did you find that you were working towards it as a performed piece with a kind of like narrative through it, or were you kind of balancing what medium to approach it?
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of I'm not really a page poet. The vast majority of my poems I write to perform. Like a lot of the time I will write and I'm thinking more about the sound of it than I am how it fits on a page. So
Right.
anytime I'm submitting any writing to like a publication or anything like that, I really have to do a lot of editing on what it looks like on the page, because I do not write to see it.
Sure. Yeah.
But I think with this one, because I made the decision quite early on. I made the decision not long after I got approved for testosterone. I was like, okay, I want to actually document this. So I had that aim. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be a fringe show, but I had the intention of, I'm going to write a series of poems on this. And it's been fun putting them together in a way that's felt like finding a nice kind of flow through the show. That's been fun. That's been really nice. So jigsawing it together.
And I know that a lot of poets with free fringe shows can kind of encapsulate work that the poet has done right up until the show, really.
Oh,
Not to throw Beth Rose to the bus again. But yeah, no, some poets can their fringe shows can change like halfway through the fringe because they've just written stuff that fits the theme of the show that they have planned. So where is the show just now? Because obviously you've because it hasn't been a full year, has it?
I'm 2 days away from it being 11 months. So yeah, I'm so close to being my first year. That's wild.
So I always think it's really interesting when a show is announced that is like based on an experience that you're going through right now, because obviously when it's a year, it'll basically be time for the show. so
Yeah.
you can't announce it then. Um, but what do you kind of like have an idea of like the finished structure of it all? And
Yeah, I've been the last sort of couple of months or so, I've been like pulling everything together and finding like making sure I've got enough material.
Yes.
Because I've been writing it over the course of a year, I haven't really been up until this point. I haven't been keeping an eye on like what I've got for each stage and like what I have, like what I want to put into it.
Yeah.
So now I'm at a stage where I'm pulling it together. I'm finding what works in terms of like the structure of the show, and I'm sort of it's been really nice to look through. Okay, I have a few pieces that I still need to write, and knowing where I'm going to slot them in, and just sort of waiting for that slot to be filled. Like I
Right,
know
yeah,
that I know this is the poem for this bit. I just haven't written it yet, and it's just really nice looking at it, going, "Oh, that's gonna happen soon." It's really.
I mean, I feel like because I have such indeterminate phases of writer's block, I can never trust myself to do that. I used to be able to do that in the way of like, oh, I'm gonna write a poem about this within the next month, and then I'm like, well, I didn't. Oh well.
Yeah. I mean, I do have some pieces that I've had that idea for a while, and I'm like, I know that I want to write this poem, and it sits in my drafts for like a full like 6 months, not been touched whatsoever, because my brain just isn't there. And then, like I said earlier, usually straight after an open mic, I'll be like, oh, that's it, and I just like write the poem on the train home.
That's a good idea. I have a really cursed way of like knowing what ideas I want to use, and every time I tell people about it, they're absolutely horrified. It's not just poetry. It's like if I'm writing a song or have an idea for like a piece of prose, if I come up with an idea, I think about it, I don't write it down. If I remember it in a week, it's worth writing.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's terrifying to my brain.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Thankfully, everyone I've told is like, why would you do that? I'm like, it works. But the thing is, like, I don't know if it fully works because I'm like, all of the stuff I've remembered to do is worth it. Yeah. The ones I've forgotten may have been worth it. Who knows? I'm just biased. Can you calm down? Okay, the dog is now leaving the set. But yeah, no, I have always been like that and tried to like really he's back. Oh, and now he's fully covering my camera. That's sick. That's really, really good. Thank you, Nyok. Yeah, I think that like because I have such writer's block, I can never write on demand. I can never just be I think that people that go to writers groups are so cool, but that's insane to me. I'm like, you can just go to something that's scheduled and you write during that time.
I really struggle with like scheduled writing time.
Yeah.
I find that so hard because I don't like just sitting staring at a blank document and going, I don't know what to put on it. Yeah. I write when my brain goes, here's an idea. So I done say that, but I had a lovely sort of casual fun writing day. It wasn't done as like a sort of official project or anything like that. It was just we would like to have a silly fun writing day with our friends, with like Ross and Marin and Spencer and like a bunch of lovely folks that just all got together, and every like hour or two we had a different project to do. So it was a different prompt or different thing. And it was just silly, good fun. And the whole point was that we weren't going to create good poetry from it. We were just going to create stuff. And it felt really nice. So like that kind of thing I can do. But a sort of scheduled, here is your writing time, does not work for the way my brain functions. No. I can't do that. I mean, it's amazing watching writers who can. I like watching writers who schedule their time they're very sort of disciplined with it and create something from it. That's like amazing to watch, and I simply could never.
No, God, no.
Can't do that.
Even the silly fun, like that does sound really nice, and I would love to do that in theory. But unfortunately, my red flag is I'd need to be the best.
Nah.
Like this film,
I know you said it doesn't need to be good, but it does.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't need to be good, and it's like, okay, well, yours doesn't need to be good. That's fine. I hope you have the best time. Like, it's not good. It's not a good way to be, and it's not the way that anyone should write. But unfortunately, it's a curse of mine. I'm sure it's a curse for a lot of other people, and I hope other people resonate with me and don't just think I'm being a dickhead. But yeah, so with afternoon tea, it's at the Banqueting Hall, Banshee's,
Yeah.
which we love that venue.
It's such a gorgeous venue.
It's now become the Poets venue, I think, for free Fringe.
Yeah, Banshees and Whistle Binkies is like the place to be for Fringe poets.
Yeah. Which absolutely love. Ross McFarlane now being kind of the chief of poetry for PBH Free Fringe.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome. What are you looking forward to experiencing as being a performer in this year's festival?
Oh, I mean, from my show in particular, I'm really looking forward to being able to do a long show. Because open mics are wonderful, but it's 5 minutes. And like even sort of like feature sets and things tend to be sort of like 10, 15, 20 a push.
Yeah.
So being able to do a long show and hold an audience for that and like learning how to do that that's going to be wonderful. I'm going to have a lovely time with that. It's just such a different skill and one that I've never tried before in poetry. Like I've done like acting performances for a full length show, but this is the first time I will have done it as a solo, as with my own writing, and that's going to feel great. I'm really excited to see how that goes because I've got an idea how it's going to feel, but obviously you don't know until you try it.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I think that your work already really lends itself to like a welcoming and conversational tone. I think that it just makes sense, especially that narrative makes sense for like a long form show where you can just
I feel quite comfortable in the way that my poetry's fitting into it. I feel because it's also nice to be able to do some longer poems and to be able to bring stuff that I don't usually get to do. I have a few sort of most of the poems I write tend to be fairly short, but recently I've been enjoying writing longer pieces, and it's nice to like have somewhere to put them.
Yeah. No, I think it is great. You're exactly right. Open mics are amazing and definitely the best way to like get started and get involved. But 5 minutes is it's not a lot of time, and some people, I mean, some people do a lot more than 5 minutes. That's how short it feels.
I'm saying that as someone who literally, when I finish a poem, I time it.
Yeah, I know you do.
Every poem I have has the time it takes written at the top of it. I track
these things. The second someone is going over by like an obnoxious amount, they're in my bad books. And you've never done that to me. You've never ever done that to me. As an open mic host myself, I know I can trust on you to play by the rules, and I love it. But yeah, no, it's a restrictive thing because like you also, a lot of the time you just don't know what the performance time is going to add to it. You don't know what the like the physicality is going to change the poem or affect where you pause and where you start.
It changes. Putting it in front of an audience really changes like the pacing and the like waiting for a reaction that you didn't necessarily realize was going to happen while writing it as well. Like waiting for an audience response. And yeah, you play so much with timings and pacing and rhythm when speaking it in, like even changes speaking it at home beforehand and then putting it in front of people. It's a different energy in that room. It's always like it changes so much putting it in front of people. So yeah, that's gonna feel great. I'm really excited for that.
It's gonna be so good. I can't wait to see it. It feels only right that you get to have to stage to yourself for a full hour. Cannot wait. It's gonna be amazing. TJ, thank you so much for being here and talking about this with us and being the member on our Pride episode for this season. It's been an absolute joy. And if I'm going to let you sign us off with a poem, and also the floor is now yours to plug the show, give us all the deets that you have, and anything else you want to plug, the floor is now yours. I'm going to let you sign us off.
So yeah, the piece that I've chosen to finish with is one that features in afternoon tea. Afternoon tea is going to be 19th to the 30th of August at 12:50 in Banshee's Labyrinth. It's venue 156. I've actually noted down the venue. And the piece that I've chosen is obviously because it's Pride special. I wanted to do a poem that is inherently very trans. But this one also touches on my asexuality, which is something that every time I write about it and every time I perform it, it feels very important to put that in front of people because it's something that you don't often see joy from. So this is Tea Horny Immunity from my free fringe show, Afternoon Tea. There is something so deeply validating about my body resisting the horny stage of tea. When I first started, everyone and their mum was telling me that I was going to be ungodly, unimaginably, insatiably horny. I was going to want to fuck anyone that so much as glanced at me, that it would be uncontrollable. Anytime, day or night, I would be in the grip of this inescapable need. That I would even resort to watching heterosexual pornography. I know, the horrors truly never cease. Except none of that has happened to me. And don't get me wrong, I was fully prepared for my sexuality to change on tea, but as it happens, my aceness is so ingrained in me, it has resisted even the power of a second puberty. This immunity is so deep in my psyche that it has seeped into my dreams. I realized recently that I can't actually remember ever having had a sex dream. Trauma nightmares don't count. But I do remember occasionally my gentle slumber being accompanied by my subconscious showing me soft, naked cuddles and kissing gently and passionately. And very definitely going that far and no further. And I've now realized that that is what sex dreams look like for me. That's the level of intimacy I have any desire for. So that is as much as my subconscious will conjure for me. And honestly, that feels really fucking lovely. My asexuality is a truly beautiful part of me. And I feel so grateful that I haven't lost it to the power of the horny teenage boy stage of tea.
Thank you very much to TJ for being this month's guest for this episode of the Loudcast. I am your host, RJ Hunter. This is my dog, Gnocchi. Have a beautiful rest of your Pride Month. Goodbye.